So welcome to Picado lesson number 3. If it's the first Picado lesson from my channel that you've come across, I would suggest going back to lessons 1 and 2 before going on to this one. On this lesson we're going to look at going from the top string to the lower string. So that's traversing across all 6 strings and how the arm works. But from the first 2 videos, the whole main reason for playing, as I've said on the other 2 videos, is because that way of playing straight down from this knuckle, the main thing about that is it keeps this knuckle relaxed, because the tension may build up a little bit here but never reaches there, so it allows this to be swift even with quite strong strikes if you're playing slowly. So that's the main point, is this part being super relaxed, because otherwise it's impossible to get speed. A few questions arose from the other 2 videos, and one was about the little finger and the third finger sort of splaying out or being out here, and the question was it tense or not, or was it something to do with purposely holding out? And the answer to that is it's not. It's basically to stop the fingers tucking in, because this can limit the movement sometimes, or the feeling of the letting go at the speed. So by just holding the little finger out, it's mainly the little finger just moving out a little bit just to hold fingers out, and as you play it keeps these fingers clear as well. It's sort of like opening up the hand a little bit, and it makes this a bit swifter, so the feeling of the speed is easier to... I mean, some people do play with tucked in very well, but generally speaking it seems a more relaxed way to play like this. We try not to tense, that's the idea, to push out in any way, so it's just lift until it's really comfortable, and then just try. When you see sometimes a little finger hooks in like that, that's a sign of tension. Again, some fantastic players do this, so there's no I'm not criticizing that in any way. So that's usually a result though of playing fast, so that's not something I don't think that people purposely do. So that's an important point as well in Picado, because sometimes there's a resultant action. So for example, when Paco Lucia plays really fast, his thumb sort of hooks like this and pushes into the body of the guitar. But again, some people would teach that, say, right, let's do Picado like Paco Lucia, let's put the thumb like that and start playing Picado. Well, that's not what he does. He basically, you can always see starting with the thumb on the string, and then as he goes super fast, that happens. So that's a result of his feeling the speed and achieving that speed, and not something that he presets or anything. So that's a mistake, I would say, to start in any way strange hand shapes. Maybe when you get really fast something. Again, I've noticed when I'm saying put the thumb on the string, sometimes when you see me playing a Picado, it'll be sort of floating just above the string. So that's another thing, thumb on the 6th string. It can be 5th string if you feel the fingers a bit freer. Again, really often I start on the 4th string when I'm playing a scale, so. And then move to the 6th string. But Manolo Sanlúcar would study top string with thumb on 4th string, then 5th string when he moves to the 2nd string. Very, very graded, and then off. So anyway, the idea is to look at that aspect of going from high string to lower string. So if we start off with just the alternation, as we got to at the end of the other lesson, the previous lesson, from playing the one finger repeatedly several times and then getting down to alternate fingers, one each. So the idea is that you want to be in the position that we spoke about, then you can probably play the 2nd string fairly comfortably from that position. But without moving the arm, playing all the strings, the fingers would start to straighten out, because it's impossible to retain the same hand position without actually moving the arm. So the way the arm moves, it's not a wholesale upward movement of the whole arm like this. It's basically just drawing back sort of behind you and just sort of letting the forearm drag across the edge of the guitar. So it's going to be more like, rather than this, it's more... So it's a bit of lifting like this, but not a wholesale like this, so it's more... So it's sort of up and back, as if you were still picking up the bag, as I mentioned in I think the first lesson. So we pick up the bag, the heavy bag, and then we stop there, and if you carry it on. So not, but more, because now we've got this to rest on. So the idea is that you could try and make every string on the way down to the basses feel like the top string. So if you're playing the top string, and then just a little adjustment so the second string feels like the top string. And the first thing is to do is just to play each string like that, so you just get accustomed to the feeling. And then let everything relax. Now it's important with the thumb here, so if we have the thumb resting on the string here, it's not, as you lift up, it's not this. That's important that it doesn't stay like that. The thumb actually wants to be in relation to the fingers as your hand would hang. So that would be close to the index here. So we've forced it here, so as you lift up, the thumb should start to come back to that position until it's in that position, and then it just lifts off at that point. So top string, let's say for example, thumb's there, second string, thumb's a bit further in, just let it come in until it's in that hanging position, and then from then on it just lifts up in contact with the top of the guitar. Of course, if you're playing fast, it's very difficult to just adjust for every string. I mean, it's almost impossible to sense that to play. And then as soon as you change string to adjust, so the position that I've spoken about, you can pretty much play two strings comfortably. So no movement of the arm at all now. And only when it starts to get with the fingertips further up than this knuckle, that starts to get more like arpeggio then. So then we just make a little adjustment. But by doing this graded string by string, so every string feels like the top string, you get used to what's comfortable on the string. So then you could do two notes from the same position and then move when you feel it's comfortable too. So as long as it feels comfortable. So the main thing is the drawing back, not just like this, everything staying the same. It's all moving. The thumb is moving in and then off, but always in contact here. So contact with the top and the string at the beginning. So okay, the arm moving up, but also back. So you're just very naturally. So that's the first step. So maybe let's say 4 notes on the top string. Second string. Third. And just watch the thumb again. That's and also the direction across the strings is not just a straight line up, which would be this. It's follow the arm back like this. So So we could introduce the left hand here, and I'd say a good exercise to start with, because when we go from one string to another, we haven't specified yet any particular fingering here. So it could either be going from the index finger on the top string, depending on how many notes you're playing, to the middle finger on the second string. That's usually considered an awkward cross, where a nicer cross is when it's the middle finger on the higher string and the index finger on the next string. But again, one can't fix too many things like that, because that, again, improvising, you don't know what's going to happen necessarily. So we want to be comfortable with both crossings. So if we start with little finger on 4th fret and we play chromatic, so 4, 3, 2, 1, on the left hand, starting with I on the right hand. Just down to 1. Same on the second string, so that means if we started with index on the right hand, it would be I, M, next string, same thing, I. And we can do the same thing with M starting, so then we get the crossing M, I, and then M on the second string, and so on. M, I. And then we could do just 3, 3, 2, 1. Then we get the switching every string. So it's I to M now on the second string, then M to I. And then 2, which would be the same again, so we do it both ways. I, M, I. And then M. And then just 1 string, you just play the open string. Then M. So another question is when you play in the 6th string, in the way we said, again, if you had your thumb out here, then there's nothing to rest on here, but the fact that you keep the thumb comes up here, then as you play the index finger, it could touch the thumb there, so that would be a good guide, and that also helps guide the middle finger a bit, even though that doesn't touch, it's got the index finger as a guide. So once again, thumb's disappeared there because it's hanging, and it starts to appear. So it's important to go up again to do that, so we can do these exercises going up also. So I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. And then play the I now. Then the 3. And then 2. And then just the 1. Okay, so I hope that's useful. I'm going to do another lesson very, very soon because I want to focus more on the rapid succession of string crossing. So when we need to cross over from I to M, let's say, from the really working that I, M, and also M, I. So I'll be looking at an exercise with that in the next lesson. So until next time, thanks for watching and see you then.